This one is for you. I see you, I hear you, and this is my love letter to you. I'm Deborah A, and this video was inspired by the conversation that I had recently with an amazing soul who's really putting themselves out there to be of service and doing whatever they can to create opportunities for people to come together, to feel supported, to co create, and yet wasn't feeling supported themselves in what they were trying to create. And so it really inspired me because I wanted to share my feedback to them with everyone because I know that they're not alone. And part of what I wrote in this post was actually something that just came through as like a stream of consciousness. And it's that it's time. My company is ready. My daughter is ready. I am ready. We're all ready to host and be hosted, to support and to be supported, to care and to be cared for, to give and to receive abundance. We're ready. It's time. We have been preparing for so long. We thought it was for ourselves, but it never was. It was for everyone. So I kind of want to open with that because hmm, it's so important to connect back to our why. And then I have a few things to say. I always share with people that safety is co created. There's two aspects of safety, which is foundational. So if you've talked with me, you kind of know the spiel, but I'm going to share it. We start with safety, and on the foundation of safety, we then build alignment. And when we have alignment, we then put on top of that impact or contribution. We think about it, you really can't contribute at the level that you want to if you're feeling frazzled and out of alignment with between who you are here to be and what you're doing. You can't actually feel like you can connect who you are here to be with what you're here to do if you don't feel safe. So we start with safety. And safety has two aspects. The first aspect is the safety that we create for ourselves. Okay. So we learn how to create safety internally by building trust and respect and compassion within our own systems, between our ears. Then the other aspect of safety is that we build safety with other people. So if I could have a great self esteem, feel great inside of me, but if I'm in a dark alley and there's people coming towards me with knives, I'm not going to feel safe. Okay. So it also means that the people around me are able to be safe people as well, so that they can help to co create with me a safe environment for all of us to be in. So that's number one. And the second part, once we feel like we're safe, we know how to create safety for ourselves, we're in spaces where we are welcome and we feel safe, then we need to create alignment between who we're being, who we're here to be, and what we're doing and what we're here to do. And that sometimes people call it integrity, but that kind of almost implies that if you're not in alignment, that somehow you're out of integrity, and that kind of has a negative connotation to it. But wow, I started talking. It was quiet here, I promise you, a minute ago, and as soon as I started talking, a whole bunch of people came in. I'm just gonna give a moment. Okay. Okay. So coming back to that, I just have to wait. So coming back to alignment, just think about it like your tires. They didn't do anything wrong. There's no one to blame if they're out of alignment. It just comes from driving on the road, weather conditions, road conditions, other things. Things just happen and the tires can get out of alignment. It doesn't mean that anything is wrong. It just means that they need to get realigned, right? Put back in alignment. So it's the same thing for us. Living life daily, we are going to get out of alignment. Expect that. It's not that you just align yourself one time with your purpose and that's it. No, it's a daily practice. Sometimes you find yourself being very irritable or very reactive. It's okay. That is part of being human. And it's beautiful when you know how to come back into alignment. That way, however many times you get out of alignment in a single day, you can come back to alignment. And it's okay sometimes your system needs to stay. There's something that really needs to be expressed or held onto for a little bit longer than maybe some other parts of our system might want, but that's okay. It is part of the human experience to feel frustrated, to feel sad, to feel lonely, to feel angry. So I want to normalize that and stop making it like I don't want to make it like it's a bad thing if you're out of alignment, okay? It's not a shaming exercise. However, if you want to make your highest impact, what your highest contribution both to yourself and to the people around you and the greater ecosystem that is all of life, you're going to need to be in as much alignment as you can be. And so ultimately, that might be your goal. It's not something that you have to be in alignment, but it's wonderful if you want to have that experience of being able to contribute at your highest level, then you are going to need to consider alignment, right? So how do we consider alignment? I look at a few things. There's one thing I look at, which is your design, how you're wired. Each of us has a way of aligning, and it's not the same for two people. There may be some similarities and overlaps, but each individual is going to have their unique way of aligning. That is number one. I use a tool of human design and gene keys to help people. That's one of the modalities that I use to help people find their alignment again. It's not the only one, there's many out there, but those are the tools that I use because they're very consistent and very compassionate. At least the way that I use them is very compassionate. They can be used in a non-compassionate way. Um, the other the other thing that we want to think about with alignment is surrender. So right, so again, there's the part that you do internally, which is learning your design, learning about gene keys, how you can learn how to check in on your frequency, frequently. But then there's a part of it that you don't have control over. Just kind of like the same thing as the people around you co-creating safety with you. There's a lot of things with alignment that are just timing. You have lessons that you need to learn. All of us, every single human on earth has life lessons that we need to learn. It's not something to feel ashamed of. It's not something to feel like you need to correct or speed up or fix. This is just part of the human experience is going through these lessons, these stages. They tend to last in human design. We talk about 7-year cycles, but that's not the only cycle there. But for the sake of simplicity, we'll just mention it like that. There are 7-year life cycles that we go through, and each of those cycles has a theme of something that we are uniquely here to experience and learn so that we can make our greatest contribution. Okay. And these are some of them. um, After 50, those are like the rest of our lives, we will be using those skills to support others and to support ourselves, to live our best lives. So yeah, let me just say one quick thing about that phrase, living your best life. It's been used in a lot of really interesting ways, um, for people looking a certain way and performing a certain way, a role of, it can look like a lot of different things, but let me just say that that's not what it means to live your best life. It's not performative, it's coming from the inside, and no one else may see you and understand that, but you will know when you're living your best life. Okay? So I just want to be clear on that. So that's alignment. So we started with safety, then we moved to alignment. Once we feel safe and we've aligned ourselves to our purpose and our essence, who we're here to be, then the final phase is impact or contribution. And that is where because I use contribution, I prefer it a little bit more because impact is like, it's like, it can sometimes be almost violent. It's like you're pushing and then things are shifting around. It can be a great use. It just depends on how it's used. But I like contribution because then it's really clear that you're adding value without necessarily doing harm. That's the goal. In the regen space, especially, that's really our goal. We've done a lot of impact that's been very harmful as a species, and it would be nice to make it a goal to make a contribution that does not do harm or minimizes harm. And so the contribution then comes again from your human design and what you know you're here to contribute. And it comes from your own lived experience, it comes from the lessons that you've learned, and then it also comes again from things that you have no control over, which is, divine timing, right? The people that you magnetize to you, the situations that you magnetize to you, that you really don't have as much control over as you'd like. If you do have control over it, I'm a little worried. And the reason why I'm worried is because if you're trying to control it, you're trying to control it from your mind. And your mind is beautiful and it's limited. And that's why it's so stressed all the time, because it knows that it's limited in what it actually understands and can support you in. And it knows that it's not supposed to be doing this alone. It's not supposed to be driving, it's supposed to be helping with the map or the GPS to help navigate with data, but it's not supposed to be in the driver's seat. And it knows that. That's why it's nervous. That's why it's stressed. So a lot of that stress comes from trying to use your gifts, use the things that have been given you in a way that they weren't really designed to be used. So anyway, so I gave you a little bit of a breakdown of safety, alignment, and contribution so that we could come back to this idea of being stressed out and understand that the piece that we're missing in when we're stressed out about um, not feeling supported, not being in survival mode, feeling like people are not reciprocating what we're giving, which is multi-layered in and of itself, is when we get really clear on how we create safety for ourselves, how we align with our purpose and what we're here to contribute. We start to understand how we want to engage with other people so that we don't undo all the hard work that we've done. Um, because unfortunately, most people on the planet still are in a very, very colonized way of thinking, way of being, and they don't really understand who they are, why they're here, and that's what we're trying to help with, right? Like, this is not a knock, this is not a judgment, but for us to be able to do that, we need to have um, some clarity on how we want to operate with other people. So, what I would say to you, stressed out, purpose driven leader, is you're on the right track. Keep going. Don't give up. This is a part of your training. This stress that you're feeling right now is a part of the journey. There's nothing wrong with it, there's nothing bad with it. And if you're excited about experiencing things a little differently, if you're excited about feeling better supported, both by your own internal dialogue and externally. If you're interested in having a different experience, let's talk, let's connect. Um, for sure, there's a lot of things that we can do that don't cost any money, cost our attention, but don't cost any money to help you to start to have more of that experience showing up in your life. Again, I'm saying this without judging the stress. Stress is a part of being human on this plane. And it's okay to want to have a different experience. Okay, I am going to